Hello Twin Flame, this is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy check. Welcome to my channel, whether you're new or you're coming back. And today is going to be a classic read, so we'll check energies on Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, and the connection at this time. I'll also post some messages between the twins. So let's get started. So as you know, I always start with an oracle deck. We'll get a little bit of guidance for each of the twins, and today it's the Cosmic Journey Oracle. So let's see what we have for Divine Feminines watching. It is the Ukraine's Independence Day. For those who know that I'm originally from Ukraine, it's quite a big holiday. And last year was actually one of the events that were happening on the day because there's ongoing war in the country. That this kind of opportunities are used to draw more attention to what is going on, to the attention of political forces, and of course people who will be able to support financially this cause. So last year it wasn't one of those events, which was pretty cool. And this year I decided that I'm gonna do things differently, and it's gonna be more of a spiritual participation. So I'm going to an ecstatic dance event instead, and there will be a cacao ceremony, there will be sound healing, and I decided that for my intention, for my conscious manifestation, I will definitely use this opportunity to bring in that healing energy, and also the energy of hope, and also courage, determination for the people of Ukraine to stand strong, to believe in victory, and take action towards it. Okay, let's see what we have for the feminines. Trust and act accordingly, number 30. Oh, and by the way, we have the Mercury retrograde that started yesterday. You notice I did miss a day yesterday. There was a lot going on, and I was like, yeah, okay, the beginning of the retrograde, I'll probably wait it out a little bit, because at the beginning it can be a bit of a cringe in the energy, and it's been tough enough with all the retrogrades generally this month. So, but it's also the beginning of Virgo season, so Virgos, happy birthday. I will be doing my monthlies for September pretty soon, and this time I will definitely be starting with Virgos, so watch out for that on my other channel, Mindful Bamboo. So yeah, what I see was the feminine, especially with this rainbow colored eye and the loving heart in the middle of it. This is like you're being asked to look at the situation with bright colors. There's optimism and hope. Trust that there is a divine plan in everything that is going on with you, even in seemingly negative situations and circumstances that are happening at this time. And as we're still in a season of retrogrades, a lot of retrogrades in place, some of them are just getting started actually this week, it's a really, really good time to reflect on why, what, how, and not just accept it as like, yeah, that's just how things are, but see how it matches or it doesn't match your values, your priorities, your lifestyle, right? Virgo season is a lot about lifestyle and like seemingly small things that build up our health and wellness or overall well-being. So it's a big opportunity to reflect on those things. I am a little bit concerned about the act accordingly, but what I'm also getting from Spirit, that act doesn't necessarily mean external action, like with everybody else, but it's also an action for yourself, or with yourself, or towards yourself, right? Especially if we're talking about the lifestyle and daily routine, if you are starting new habits, or you're visiting what you're doing, maybe you're working with your addictions. This is a good time, to take action towards the solution. What do we have for the masculines at this time? And that was card number 30, by the way, if that number is of significance to you. For masculines, we have number 43. Your lighthouse guides you home to the stars. Yeah, so this is basically, home is a kind of a relative notion in this case, right? Home is like the heart space, you know, the connection with your higher self, the connection to your inner child, the loving connection. Obviously, you're always connected, but you know, this is like that inner guidance that you're supposed to follow that will lead you to your highest happiness. It may not be connected with a specific place, but that, you know, when we think home, a lot of times the first thing we think about is the place, geographical location, maybe a specific dwelling, but it's not it, and that's not what's meant here. So it's more like the feeling of home is when we are feeling most safe, loved, comfortable, nurtured. And for you to find that feeling or to understand what it means for you exactly, how to bring that feeling in if it's not there, or how to enhance it even more, that's your natural, like, inner guidance that's supposed to take you there. And again, since we're in retrograde season, it may be about, especially with 43 that comes down to 7, it may require you to go within and see what has or hasn't worked out for you so far. Or maybe you tried, I don't know, with Virgo themes, let's take an example of a diet, right? Maybe you tried that diet that you've heard so much good stuff about, or it actually worked for someone you know, and you're like, yeah, that's a sure thing, I'm gonna do it. And though it's tough, you've been grilling at it for, I don't know, 6 months, for the entire, 8 months of this year, and you don't see the results, or they're very limited. And you know, this time may get you thinking whether it was the right step for you in the first place. And maybe your motives were pure, but the logic was a little faulty because you didn't use that inner lighthouse. And especially when it comes, as we're talking about wellness, when it comes to healthy lifestyle and improving your sense of health and wellness, it's a very, very personal choice. You can't just analyze it externally and just say, yeah, of course, right? And that's where, especially as twins, we can use our intuition to guide us naturally to what feels good, what feels right. Okay, let's get into the tarot now. Let's see what the energy is like for Divine Feminines at this time. What's happening with Divine Feminines that we are supposed to know about, that Divine Masculines watching are supposed to know about. Now, it's a little bit different message, right, when we provide energy updates for the actual person that's viewing, or for the cross-watcher about their person. But in this particular reading, we're definitely doing it in the open, so this is like the information that both can and should know. And I mean, all the videos are public, so everybody can know anyway, right? It's just that, and I've noticed that the wording is different. I was watching actually one of the videos about Divine Masculines the other day. It was for a specific theme of it, and I realized I was almost thinking about sending the link to my DM to watch. And as I was watching, the more I was watching, like every other minute of the video, I realized that it's actual information for the feminines, not for the masculine. And I mean, it kind of makes sense with the twins, right? Because our person reflects what's going on with us, or it's like the based on what's going on with the energy, you can get some guidance. But yeah, I was definitely, I realized pretty quickly that it wouldn't be a supportive or encouraging video for the masculine, just from the way it was presented, because the target audience was not the Divine Masculine, it was for the feminines. So it depends, but yeah, this is out in the open space, safe space. So for the feminines, we have 6 of Cups, the Emperor in return, and 3 of Wands. Yeah, so definitely there is a revision of what the meaning of unconditional love, the meaning of true love, and releasing of control around it, right? This is that big part of trust, you know, where you don't have to know how exactly it's going to play out. You don't have to know when exactly you're in union, because you know, want to manage your calendar, right? For a few months ahead at least. So you want to know but this is you letting the guard down, and also releasing that control of when and how exactly is that going to happen, so you can prepare. Of course, that makes sense, right? You want to make the most out of it. You want to be at your best, but that's the trick to it, right? That it's supposed to come in naturally, so you don't really have the 3 of Wands is also about surrender, actually. You don't have to do anything special, right? So this is, again, the retrograde time is a great opportunity to turn inwards and think about yourself. You know what I'm getting here? It's a really great idea to look into what your life is as an individual, right? And whether your lifestyle actually reflects where you want to be or how you want to feel, your values and priorities and your needs, if we're talking about health, for example. But also for those especially who are craving doing something with their person, or some sort of a relatedness, right? Some sort of connection in the physical. What you can do is you can also think about all of the same themes that I mentioned, but for the 2 of you. And I don't mean that you're going to tell your person exactly what they're supposed to do in their life, right? But there's also a common space when it comes to 2 people, whether it's friendship, romantic relationship, even in the workplace. There is that common environment. It's almost like the third entity between you 2 that is your connection. And depending on, of course, the activities you do together, what is the purpose of the connection, what's the driving force, it will be different aspects of it that you can reflect on, or you can start building that vision of how you want to see that. And of course, nobody's stopping you from doing that for, your union with your DM or your connection as you see it right now. For instance, your friends at the moment, right? You can see like what great things could you be doing together? How can you connect? How you can support each other, right? If you are already thinking about getting together more in a romantic connection, right, you can also see, okay, how do I envision this life? And Virgo is asking you to think details, right? So this is that time when it's a good idea to think like, how are we gonna be, dividing up our chores, or who is gonna be running errands and when, or just maybe sleeping schedule. Maybe that your person's schedule is different, natural schedule is different than yours. How are you gonna make that work together? Things like that. Or maybe some hobbies you'd like to take up together, which would make sense when you actually together, like you live together, whatever, you at least see each other on the regular basis and you commit to spending time together, right? So this could be beautiful. Starting some new hobbies. Those are kind of things that you can think about, you can jot them down even, right? You can manifest those things, at least the general idea, if you don't have the details, or you don't care that much about the details. But it's still gonna be useful, yeah, and it's something that you kind of put it out there as your manifestation, if you wish, but you're still leaving it to the universe to kind of sketch it out, make it all happen. What's the energy of divine masculines at this time? What do we need to know for the masculines and what they're going through energetically, spiritually? Yeah, and of course the theme of 6 of Cups is like the big part of unconditional love is not needing to control the circumstances, whether it's on your side or your person's side. Because sometimes control can mean that you are controlling yourself to be a certain way, to look a certain way, so that you feel more, attractive or similar or whatever, pleasant to your person, Sorry guys, have to pick something up. Okay, we've got 6 of Pentacles and 10 of Swords. So another 6, it's actually meaning twins are building strong foundation for the next phase, for the new cycle. And it was more on the emotional side for the feminines, which makes sense because it's a more feminine vibe, right? Feelings and emotions. It's a little bit more practical on the masculine side. Earth is actually feminine energy, but this is more 3D theme, let's put it that way, right? And masculines are more 3D oriented anyway. So I'm just talking about things that you can think about together. Same goes for masculine. I mean, it's relevant for everyone watching, right? But masculines are actually definitely thinking more practical questions. You know, how we're gonna be doing finances together, or even tax reports together. Who is gonna be paying if we go on vacation together? Things like that. And you know, it may seem a little dry, but this will be things that you, since we all live in this 3D reality, this will be things that you guys will be contemplating and will have to make decisions on, right? So this is like, what would be a loving choice that would, you know, like, it can be pretty delicate topic, really, right? It may be about the responsibilities around the house too. I don't know, depending on your circumstances, right? Could even be taking care of pets or children, right? Like, it all falls into this category. And definitely want to make a loving choice where it's going to be equal partnership, where neither of the partners will feel like they're getting the, you know, the worst side of it, or they're treated unfairly, or they've been taken advantage of, or something along those lines, right? And it comes from the painful experiences in the past. And that actually goes both ways for the masculines, meaning that they've been treated unfairly and they had treated somebody unfairly with that regards. So they are trying to kind of mold that experience into something positive and something that they feel will be, at least will not be deteriorating a relationship, but hopefully will even strengthen it, right? Or make the commitment more solid. Very interesting. One quick message of advice that I just got is look at it from the place of your heart, you know, of your soul, of your happiness, of your joy. A little bit less about what makes sense from like the financial standpoint. I mean, hopefully they coincide, right? Or they at least overlap, but it's more about what feels right in this case. What is going on with the connection at this time? A lot of downloads today. I guess that's because we had that day off. A lot is coming through. But I'm glad that it's giving like some useful guidance in terms of how to use this retrograde time. Because a lot of people get anxious about it just because it, you know, Mercury retrograde has a lot of negative connotations around it. How it messes up communication, ruins plans, destroys technology and stuff like that. And other retrogrades can feel scary mostly because there's not enough information about what it actually means. But this is really good guidance, and I'm gonna definitely use for myself on how to use this time wisely, basically, right? And how you can think about something constructive and what you want to create, not necessarily what went wrong. That's another thing. A lot of people see the reflection part is only like, okay, so now I have to look closely at the mistakes I've made. Yeah, a lot of fun, right? But it's not just that. I mean, it's a good idea. It's a really good idea if you can do that, if you have that strength, that willpower, right? But it's a lot more important to go from there to the next steps, to how I want things to be in the future, or even in the present. You know, what new health routine am I gonna start tomorrow, right? Okay, so for the connection we have Queen of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, and Ten of Wands. Another closure of the old cycle at this time, right? Certain burdens that do not matter anymore, I'm getting. Do not matter because there's so much to look forward to that the twins are like, yeah, we don't have time for that. It doesn't mean full closure automatically in all cases, but it definitely means that it's not a block to next steps for building something in the physical, right? And that's what we've been talking about. That's what we want, right? So there is that platform, that baseline that's being built by the twins with those sixes that we just saw, right? And this is like the motivation behind it, right? Of building a home and a family in the physical. That's the Queen of Pentacles energy, and also seeing lots of opportunities and deciding how do you want to play things, if you wish, right? Where do we start? Like, there's just so much, it's overwhelming, so much that we want to do together, that we plan to do together, right? So it's like, where do we start, or how to kind of glide ourselves, ease into it, right? So this is like Seven of Cups, but actually semi Seven of Pentacles at this time. This is acknowledging that there's a lot of ways to do it. There's no one way. But now it's like that is gonna mold into the actual roadmap, or at least several solid ways to do it, so that once the retrograde season is over, the twins can discuss it, can kind of push those ideas off each other and decide how they want to do it. Love it. Okay, messages from divine masculines to feminines. The big fat no just slammed my stand. Sorry, a little bit. When I don't use these cards for a few days, I lose my skill. Okay. So we have happiness is my priority. Totally makes sense for the retrograde. I'm too afraid to talk. Yes, and you know what? During Mercury retrograde, those fears you have about communication that you would normally have, during the retrograde, they can intensify for sure. But again, you can use that energy to face your fears and work through them. Then we have no. That fell out actually after I'm too afraid to talk to you, and then no. So like, what I'm getting is the masculines are trying to work through that. They don't take no for an answer in this case, meaning that they don't want that to stop them. They're afraid, but they want to move past that. I lie awake thinking about our future. I want you to choose, and have I lost everything? This is a Nine of Swords energy, the anxiety, right? So there's that kind of anxious feeling from like, I hope I haven't wasted too much time, or I hope I'm doing the right thing. So they could really use, if you can, feminists, maybe you can send at least some telepathic guidance or some subtle messages that will give them a better idea of what do you want to do next, or how do you want to play the things, so that they can put their anxiety at ease around communicating about their feelings and next steps. Feminines to masculines now. Let me have you. There's a lot of cards. There is someone else. I think so, yes. I could be your hero, baby. And reach out. Yeah, so feminine is like, yeah, I mean, you know, we're both strong. We can take it. Like, you can be open with me. I want us to embrace in that closeness and that intimacy. And I can take it. I'm a hero after all, right? So I can take it. With someone else, I'm getting a couple of scenarios. So for some, this could be actually feminines understanding that masculines have somebody else in their life right now. It could be a karmic partner. It could be a karmic situation was like, it doesn't have to be a person, right? It could be another person, right? Or can be a situation that they're working through that they need to resolve before they can move on with anything else in this connection. And they are understanding about it. So for masculines watching, your feminine is understanding this, and they will wait for you, you know. They will be there when you're ready to come back to bring this back to focus again. For others, there's actually someone else on the feminine side. Again, can be something or someone or something that they're dealing with right now that is taking a lot of their energy. So this is almost like, sounds almost like an apology of like, yeah, sorry if I haven't given you my undivided attention, or I haven't been more present, because there's just a lot going on in my life that I need to take care of. Which will also pass, but this is almost like a divine way of like keeping you busy and productive and giving you a lot of insights through these karmic experiences. To prep you with whatever gaps are still there, to kind of close them out in a healthy way, and B, to keep you busy so you don't have that monkey mind just racing, thinking about negative scenarios for this connection, or what's gonna happen next, or actually contacting your masculine and trying to get to the bottom of something, you know, like it's a retrograde time, so it may not end well, especially if you're in the anxious energy. So if you're feeling like you do, it's actually a good idea to channel it into something productive for yourself. Okay, I hope this has been good for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you all, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon.